Hello, everybody, and welcome to the most massive of massive unboxings. Today, we will be unboxing everything that I got from Airliners International 2024 in Kansas City. Yeah, the booty bag is so big, I can not really fit it on camera, but there's your logo. We'll be going through this first. We'll be doing the non-model items first, and then we'll be getting into the models, which there are 16 of them, which is insane. So this might be a little bit of a long video, so strap yourselves in. But we'll try to get through this decently quickly, but we'll go through the booty bag first, just kind of go through all these pretty quickly. We'll first start with our flight operations guide, which is just a little booklet showing all the things that you need to know about the convention and all that fun stuff. So that comes in the bag. Also, I would like to mention that although I was registered with a retailer, I still did get all the the booty bag and all that fun stuff that you do get when you register for Airliners International. I have a second flight operations guide in there as well, so we'll throw that one off to the side. That was on accident. I think I accidentally took someone else's. But yeah, there were two in there. So whoops. You have this Legend Airlines folder, which kind of got a little bit messed up. I was holding safety cards in there earlier, and now I've taken those out for this video. Unfortunately, I did step on my bag. Not with anything important in there, just I think I messed up some of the papers. So we have this Airways magazine which I unfortunately have creased a little bit. So this will be fun to look through. Yeah, should be a whole bunch of fun aviation stuff. This is from July of 2003. It says right there. So that'll be quite fun to go through. Oh wow, that's pretty cool. The future winglet, groundbreaking from back then, and now it's part of our everyday flying experience. There's another Legend Airlines folder, which I'm not going to pull out, but I just noticed that was in there. We have this thing, which is a membership checklist for the Old Airline Historical Society. Interesting. TWA 747 safety instructions. That's really cool. It uses actual images as well and everything. So TWA, of course, they used to be a hub airline at Kansas City, so it makes sense that they would be doing a lot of fun TWA stuff for this. And so I actually got two of these as well. A lot of pairs of things in here, so throw those off to the side. I guess this came in it as well. There's some advertising going on in here, clearly. Oh, we have a whole bunch of postcards, which I guess we can go through here real quick. How do these come out here? I'll just open up the plastic, and we'll kind of just flip through these. Not going to go over them very much in detail, but I'll just show you what you got in here. You got Central, TWA, that's pretty cool. Frontier 737-200, that's pretty awesome. TWA 747, and United 727, TWA 727. So very nice little stack of postcards there of some historic aircraft. This is really cool. We have an America West timetable from 2000. So another thing that'll be fun to look through later on. But a nice feature of the booty bag. This is all free, by the way. Which, if you didn't know, that's really cool. We have another thing of. I don't know why they all came in twos, but we have another thing of postcards. I assume it's the same ones because it's the first one on the front. So I'm not going to go through all those again. We have some headphones here. Not sure from which airline. ExpressJet headphones. It says ExpressJet there. Interesting. So maybe I can try listening to some tunes in those. Don't look the most comfortable, but they'll do, I suppose. We have some Airliners International wings right here. And an Eastern Airlines pair of wings as well. We have this pin. I assume that's what that is. Not really sure of what that is, but it's there. This is a card from Sprue. This did not come in the bag, but it ended up in there anyways. Oh, we have a sticker here. And what else we got? We have another sticker. I have a timetable for Mexicana. That's pretty cool. And we got a bunch of these things. So here's an example of one of these. I'm not actually sure what that is. Not a lot of this stuff I have not really looked through. I guess it's an old ticket. Example of an old ticket. Interesting. There's a few of those in there. We have a jet tip keychain, of course. This seems like a pretty standard thing to put in the booty bags now. I've seen those a few times. Oh, we also have a sprue pen that also was not in the bag originally, but Sprue gave it to me, and I'll talk about that more when we get to the model section. But there's a pen in there. We have this Braniff pin. I'm aboard the Braniff bandwagon that I almost stabbed myself with because I had the needle out there. And last but not least, we have 2 Texas International match things. So that's awesome. Definitely going to burn some things with those later, I suppose. But yeah, that's all that was in the booty bag. Of course, it comes with the bag itself. Oh, there's one more thing, actually. We have an American Airlines stir stick. Very strange. You have a wide variety of things in there for sure. So I'm a big fan of the timetables and the safety cards. Those are pretty cool. The pins as well. Those I could use, and the matches, of course. Gotta love the matches. I don't know what I'm gonna do with all that stuff, but some of it I can definitely display places, I suppose. But yeah, that's very cool. That's all the stuff that I got for free. And that already took up about 7 minutes of our video just doing that. So now we'll get into the stuff that I actually paid money for at Airliners, which will encompass the rest of our stuff. But that's what was in the booty bag. And so definitely not a bad haul just from being registered already. So we're off to a good start. But now we will get into the fun other stuff, and we'll start with the non-model items first. There's not a whole lot of non-model items that I bought, just some safety cards and some fun stuff, but we'll get into that next. All right, now we'll start with the first of our purchased items, and our first item is actually the first purchase that I made at the event, and it is this. Oops, it's falling over. It's a little bit tricky to stand properly, but it's this cool Cayman Islands, Cayman Airways stand thing with the Cayman Airways logo turtle. It's very cute. I saw it and I was like, I need to buy that before someone else does. It was $10, which is overpriced, honestly, but it's a cute little guy. How could I not buy this thing? So I don't know where I'm gonna put this, but I knew when I saw it, like immediately, that was the first thing that I saw. I was like, I need to buy that. So this was my first purchase at the convention. Little cardboard Cayman Airways turtle. So that'll definitely be going somewhere. I'm not going to be saying goodbye to that thing because that's so dang cute. And now the rest of the stuff that we have here is a bunch of safety cards. So on the last day, deal day, they were giving away a whole bunch of Delta safety cards for a really cheap price. So all these except for one were $1. Then the other one, stupidly, I got from the Chris Slimmerville, and it ended up being more expensive. But the rest of the Delta cards that I'm about to show were all, I believe, $1. So we have the CRJ900 one first, which is like laminated, so the other ones are not. So this one's a little bit special that way. I don't believe I have any other Delta safety cards, so I got 4 of them. I flew Delta down to Kansas City, so I wanted to get at least a 717 because that's the aircraft that I flew down. But I ended up getting a whole bunch more. This is back in the ExpressJet days of the Delta CRJ200s. So definitely very interesting right there. So yeah, here's the first of our safety cards. And then we'll now move into some of our mainline stuff. For Delta, we have the 717 here, of course. As I said, I wanted to get a 717 one. This is the one I picked up in Slimmerville. That was the more expensive one. But here we have all that fun stuff on the safety card, which is similar to the one that I flew down to Kansas City in. Not sure what year this one is from. This is a 2021 version, so it would be very similar to that one. And now these last two I just got because they were pretty special. We'll start with the 757 one first. Since I have flown on the Delta 757 before, I decided to pick up this one. And as you can see, this is the version with the that's the lower density configuration. So it doesn't have the overwing exits, which is not the. I wish I would have noticed that before, because that's not the type that I flew on back when I flew. But it was 2015 when I flew on a Delta 757, so that's why I picked this one up. But it was not in that configuration, so that was a little bit of an oversight on my part. That's okay. It was only $1, so not like it wasn't worth it. But a nice new safety card there. Our last Delta safety card. This was still $1 somehow, and so obviously I had to pick it up. But it's the 747. So, of course, got to pick up it. It's kind of cartoonish on here, because of course I can't get the proper like scaling for that image. So that's kind of funny, but yeah, we got to get a 747 one. It was only $1, and it just felt like it was worth it, even though I've never flown a Delta 747 before, obviously. Why not? It's a nice addition to the collection. So those are all the Delta ones, and now I'll move on to the two other safety cards that I ended up buying. Both of these from Slimmerville as well. We have the Southwest 737-300 here. I don't believe I've flown on a Southwest 737. Maybe I've flown on a Southwest 737-300, but I really just picked this one up because Southwest is kind of unique that they flew this aircraft for so long until 2017, I want to say, before they retired it. And that's a long time to keep around the 737-300. So I don't know. I just felt like picking it up. I like the aircraft, and it was there. I was just like, all right, I'll buy it. I didn't really have a whole lot of time left at the convention, and I saw this one, and I figured I might as well go for it. Our one international one that I ended up buying, which was a little bit of an interesting one for sure. Kind of got it for the funnies, and I don't know, it's kind of close to home in air quotes as in my ancestry. We have this Aeroflot safety card. I'm from Latvian ancestry, and they border Russia. But I just thought I thought it would be funny because the characters here on the safety card look so funny, and I think Russian is just a cool looking language. Of course, you'd not want to be flying on this aircraft now, and or Aeroflot or Russian Airlines at all anymore, or go to Russia at all. And of course, this is not like in support of what Russia is doing currently in Ukraine, which is terrible and evil, but I don't know. I thought it'd be funny to get an Aeroflot safety card for the memes, I suppose. So I ended up picking that one up because I just think it looks kind of funny, but it is definitely European style. It does not open up or anything. It's just this piece of laminated paper. But that'll do it for the non-model items. There's not a whole lot, just mostly safety cards, and then that weird Cayman thing, which is definitely the best pickup of all from Airliners, in my opinion. Not really, but I mean, it's so cute that it's awesome. But yeah, now we'll move on into the actual model items that I picked up at Airliners. So we'll move into those next. All right, and we'll start our models here with the first one from Sprue. We're going to start with all of the T-tail ones first, and then we'll move on into the more conventional look, I guess. But yeah, we'll start with our first model from Sprue. Half of these are from Sprue, so I guess gear yourselves up for that. But we have our first one from there. If you were at the convention or if you saw my video from there, you may know why I got something from Sprue. But our first one is this Delta International CRJ900 with broken horizontal stabilizers, you can see right there. We're actually just going to remove this thing now because you've already seen it, and you'll see what the issues inside there. There's also box damage that came with this one as well, but that's not as major issue in there. But I got this for $15, and that's the reason why, because it's defective, and this is the older release of the CRJ900. This is from 2018. You can see in the back there. So I felt like it was worth it to pick this one up. We have been getting more CRJ900s at MSP now because they retired the CRJ200. Delta did. So because I only have the 2021 release and the SkyWest CRJ700. I felt like it was time to get a reinforcement for those. I have a Shapeways custom, but I don't like using it all that much. It's kind of old, so we will get this one out and then we'll get it repaired. You're not going to see the model in its full fledged form, because of course it's missing its horizontal stabilizers, but it's definitely a fixable thing to do. I can definitely glue those back in. So hopefully by the next time you see this aircraft, those will be fixed. But for now, it is as is. So we have these two horizontal stabilizer pieces right here that we'll just push off to the side, and we'll get into our quick review of this model. I'm not going to go in too in depth because it's not a full model, but also one thing that I just wanted to, I realized this like today before doing this video. The digital rendering of the aircraft, it's not going to focus probably. There it is. You can see the winglet is gray on there, and that's not how it is in real life. Obviously, you can see in the model, it's not gray. So that's a little bit funny that they did it that way. We're actually going to use the sprue pen as our pointer for the occasion. I got a lot from Sprue. Spent over $200 there, so I have a lot of their merchandise, I guess. But we will begin. We have our nose cone up there. Here are the cockpit windows. There is the nose wheel doors, and then the nose landing gear itself. Landing gear, except for the nose gear, the main gear roll decently. The nose gear does not roll on this model. Here we have the SkyTeam logo, the L1 door. We have the Delta titles up here, and then the connection titles below the windows there. For Delta connection, obviously this was an Endeavor operated aircraft, and is now SkyWest operated because SkyWest has taken over all the operations of the CRJ700s for Delta, so this is now a SkyWest operated aircraft. We have our one overwing exit and our interestingly done exit paths there that are kind of unique on the CRJs, rather than being like arrows. I think they might be like a bunch of tiny arrows, but they look kind of weird on the models. It's kind of hard to see also with them being so tiny when a 400 scale. Here we have our winglets, of course. Our registration on this aircraft is number 708 Echo Victor. We have our engines back there, and then of course the missing horizontal stabilizers. I do think the Delta widget looks really cool with T-tail aircraft, so I do definitely like to see the Delta RJs because I think the widget looks better with T-tail look to it. So there we have our. This is okay. They did this with the CRJ900s, and there is also the case here on this CRJ700 that they put the main gear like on the wheel well. That's not the correct position. I'll bring in my CRJ700. It's right here. This is they did it with both of them, but this is the 2021 example. Where you can see that the main gear. Where do they go into the aircraft? That's not how this works. I mean, I'm glad Gemini fixed this for their 2021 release of the CRJ700, which will, I guess, bring onto frame as well. Here's the 2021 release. You can see it does have the accurate main gear. But it's interesting that they've messed up on that multiple times on the CRJ or the CRJ aircraft, not just the 900s for Gemini jets. But yeah, definitely very interesting. So. This one will supplement this one in these airport updates of MSP. I doubt this will really be making an appearance elsewhere unless there's something extraordinary happens or an aircraft swap or something. But we never really see the Delta CRJ700s at any of my other model airports. But it is mainly a thing for maybe at Kalamazoo they'll come back, but really just a model for MSP. But it's $15, so I think it's worth it because I do believe I'll be able to fix the horizontal stabilizers on this one. So. For now, you won't see this in airport updates, but once I get those fixed, this should make its first appearance in not too long. So now we'll move on from that one. We'll move into our first retro model of this massive unboxing. We do have a few retro models today to get through, so this will be the first of the first of which, and this one will be particularly exciting for JJ Skippy if I had to guess. So this one is the Aero Classics Republic DC-950. This is a new release by Aero Classics, and one that I kind of wanted to get, and then I figured that Airlines was the perfect opportunity to pick up this model, and they had it there, so I decided to go ahead and pick this one up. We have Herman right there with the Republic DC-9. They also did a North Central version, which I could have gotten, but I figure I'm going to get more use out of the Republic one because they did fly these. Mainly, my main retro airport is Retro Kalamazoo, and I may do a retro. I don't think I'm going to go this far back with retro MSP until I get a lot more Republic, which I don't know if I'm going to really be able to get enough to supplement MSP retro for back in those days, because I only have this, the Convair 580, and then our Northwest Republic hybrid, which doesn't really count. So this is really it. But the box is really simple. It's just a Air Classic DC-9 box. Although I don't believe I have any other of these. This is the first Air Classic DC-9 that I am unboxing. I have a JetX one, but that's not Air Classics. So we will get into this plastic here. And here we have our wonderful model right here. Gotta love Herman the Duck. So I'll bring this in frame here. An absolutely gorgeous livery. Big fan of this one from Republic. I think it's much better than their final livery, for sure. So yes. Ooh, that's sharp. So we'll get started up here. We have our nose cone, of course. There is our nose landing gear. Our cockpit windows with the eyebrow, of course. Our L1 boarding door right there. Here are the Republic titles, of course. We have our cheat line, our two cheat lines, which converge together here in the nose. We've got the darker blue stripe there on the bottom and on the top, with the like kind of teal stripe in the middle. Then you have the windows that are that kind of separate the two, which is really cool. We have our overwing exits right here, and I like how on the DC-9s, the Mad Dogs, they kind of have they put a window between the two overwing exits, and I just think that's kind of neat to look at. You also see that with the next aircraft that we ended up picking up here. We have a beacon there on the top, no antennae or anything on this one. It wasn't on the CRJ900 either, for that matter, but Air Classics does not do that on any of their models. We have our main gear down there, and a stand hole as well. The landing gear on this one, the main gear do not roll. So Air Classics normally does a pretty good job of making their landing gear roll, although they're really easy to fall off if you try to roll them. But this one of them is stuck, so they do not roll. Our registration on this one is, to get down to see it in the camera here, November 778, November Charlie. We have the American flag right there on our beautiful silver engine. That looks very nice right there. We have Herman on the tail, looking absolutely gorgeous in all his glory. So yeah, that'll pretty much do it for this model right here. A very nice addition to the collection, the retro fleet from Aero Classics right here. Absolutely love this model. Looks really cool. We even have the Cooper door down there at the bottom. Of course, if you need to evacuate out the back of the aircraft, there's little stairs in the back that you can lower down and evacuate out that way, which is really cool from the DC-9s, the Mad Dogs, that series of aircraft from McDonnell Douglas. So yeah, very cool model right here, and a fantastic addition to the retro collection. You'll definitely see this one at Retro Kalamazoo at some point in the future, because this one did fly into Kalamazoo for quite a while, and may see it elsewhere in retro updates, but definitely in Retro Kazoo. This model will inspire me to do another update from back in the 80s probably. They definitely flew the Republic DC-9. They flew Northwest DC-9s for a while, but I believe the Republic also had DC-9 service to Kalamazoo for a bit. But anyways, we will now move into our next model of the T-Tails. This one, a very similar, I suppose, design, although it's a different manufacturer in terms of the name. This one being the Gemini Jets Delta 717. So, although it is Boeing, this was originally supposed to be the MD-95, so another Mad Dog series aircraft by McDonnell Douglas, but that was when Boeing acquired them, so it became the Boeing 717, and so it is a McDonnell Douglas design, but under the Boeing name. And this is the aircraft that I did fly down to Kansas City, not the exact same one, but the same aircraft type and airline that I flew down to Kansas City in. you guys have all seen Gemini Jets boxes before, so I don't really have to do a big tour of the box. So we'll pop this guy open. This is the 2023 release by Gemini Jets. I thought that was right, although I wanted to confirm real quick. And get the plastic covering off there. And here is our model inside. So this aircraft right here, you know what I just realized? I put in the wrong one. Okay, I did an MSP update before this one. I might leave this. This is just really funny. I did an MSP update where I did use some of these models, and the Delta 717. This is the 2013 model. I didn't even realize that I put it in the box. So yeah, this is not the right one, because this release does not have eyebrow winglets. So this is the first time I'm having to deal with it having duplicate 717s. So I might just leave that in the video because that's pretty funny. But we'll cut to when I have the right model in here. Sorry about that, guys. Whoops. Also, I guess you get to see now that these unboxings are not true unboxings. At least how it had to work out this time, I had to do an MSP update where I used a few of these models and had to put them back in the box. The 717 being one of them, and now we get the 2013 Gemini just released there. So that's the wrong aircraft, and I'll be back with the right one. So here's the right model. What immediately alerted me to it, I thought that this model was missing its antenna because the new release comes with this antenna on the top, and I didn't see that one on the other one, and I got nervous that the antenna fell off. But no, it was just completely the wrong model, which is that's never happened in one of these unboxings before. That's kind of hilarious, honestly. Anyway, so we'll get started with our review. We have our nose cone there, our main gear, or not our main gear, that's our nose gear, not the main gear. Jeez. We have our cockpit windows right there. Here is the L1 door with the SkyTeam logo on it, which is pretty cool. That Delta does on their 717s. They don't do that on any of their other aircraft, I believe. It's only on the 717s they put the SkyTeam logo right on the door. Maybe they did it on their, I think they did it on their Mad Dogs as well, now that I think about it, but I don't have a model to reference and be like, oh yeah, yes or no. But 717s are at least unique currently in Delta's fleet, that they're the only aircraft that has that. We have the Delta titles right there. Here we have our one antenna on this model, which is a nice feature. Definitely stands out, makes it look very nice. Although I couldn't see it clearly when trying to put it back in the box. Anyways, we have our overwing exits here, which have the same thing as the DC-9 for Republic, with the one window in between, which is cool. And we have our overwing exit paths going down the wing right there. Our main gear down there, we also have a Delta belly on this one, of course. It wasn't on the CRJ900, but it is on this aircraft. Landing gear, kind of roll, not really, unfortunately. Of course, you got all our good detail on the wing for, your flaps and your slats and your ailerons and all that good jazz. So all well detailed on there. We have the American flag right there. Registration on this aircraft is November 998 Alpha Tango. We have our engines back here, of course. And actually, when I was flying, I had the worst seat on the 717, which is flying down the Kansas City. It was really funny because I was sitting in the last row, middle seat. There's no window because you're right there. The engine is, you're not going to get a view. It was the last row. It didn't even have a window. There was nothing there, not even a window to see nothing. It was dark and it was uncomfortable. Not a great experience on the Delta 717, unfortunately, because it's a gorgeous aircraft. I was hoping to do a trip report on it and everything, but yeah, literally got the worst seat possible on that flight. So that was really lame. Not really anything I could have done about it, but that was really, really unfortunate. Yeah, we have our widget back here, and then our attached horizontal stabilizers. And so yeah, that'll do it for this aircraft right here. A very nice model by Gemini Jets. Only halfway through our Delta models. Definitely got a lot for Delta. More than what I expected. I wanted to get the 717 and another model that we'll see, but ended up getting more for Delta than what I expected. But that's all good because MSP is a Delta hub, and it seemed like I always need more Delta models. So a nice addition to the collection, duplicate for the 717, and the aircraft that I flew down to Kansas City in. Not the exact one, of course, not the exact same registration, but it was nice to pick up the aircraft that I flew down there in at the convention. So, yeah, that'll do it for our first 3 models. We have one more T-tailed aircraft here. This one, another retro model. This is the first model I actually picked up at the convention on day 1. I only picked up the Cayman Airways thing and then this model on day 1. And I got a pretty good deal on it. I believe it was $20, I want to say. But it is the Champion Air Boeing 727-200. So this is the 2000, when was this released? 2003 by Gemini Jets. I believe this model was commissioned by Champion Air because the flap on this one is just basically an ad for Champion Air, which is really interesting. You don't normally see that on the inside of the flap, but it is the old Gemini Jets box, which looks pretty cool in silver and all that. So, yeah, definitely a retro thing here. But Champion Air, before like Sun Country was big, they were the main charter airline out of MSP back in like the 90s and the early 2000s. Then Sun Country started to take over, and eventually, Sun Country became what they are today. But Champion Air, they were a charter airline exclusively. While Sun Country, they did operate like some vacation flights. They were, as well as being a charter airline. Champion Air was exclusively a charter airline operating 727s. And then they were based here at MSP, and I guess they slowly collapsed basically. But they were around for a while. I believe they were around until 2008, which is quite impressive. So they were around in my lifetime. But yeah, they are local, and they did fly to MSP, of course, until the very end, obviously. But yeah, definitely a very interesting charter airline from the area. And when this model was released, this model is literally advertising their services, which is really funny. Like, they had a website and everything on the box. In fact, we'll try to find it on here. Yeah, there it is. Oops, sorry about my finger. Literally advertising their stuff on the box, which is really funny to think about, that they're now a long gone airline when they were advertising their website and all that on the Gemini Jets model 5 years before they failed. But yeah, very interesting and quite a rare model too. So I'm glad that I got it for the deal that I did. It's which I'll definitely take. $20 for this thing. A very, very, very good deal. So yeah, we'll get into our review here of the Champion Air 727-200. Getting up here with our nose cone, we have our cockpit windows right there with the eyebrow, of course, on them. We have our nose gear down there, L1 boarding door. The Champion Air title's up on top there. We also have our cheat lines here. We have 3 lines that kind of start at the nose cone, and then they swoop their way down and then head throughout the fuselage all the way to the tail section there. We have, this is a cradle mold here. Also, landing gear do not roll on this model. But here we have our wings with overwing exit paths and our overwing exits, emergency exits themselves right there. Registration is November 697 Charlie Alpha, and then we have another exit door further back there, and then a few more windows before we get into our 3 engines here at the back of the 727, of course. All the tail section is in blue with the CA logo in a similar font to what we see over here for Champion Air. And then the other side of the aircraft, basically the same thing. Nothing too much going on for this aircraft. It is kind of cool that the horizontal stabilizers are also in blue on this aircraft. You don't really see that painted that much, so that's pretty unique. But yeah, very simple model in itself, but nice one to add to the retro collection, and this will be making an appearance at Retro MSP at some point in the future, because this is a little bit more modern than Republic. So I will be able to do a Retro MSP update with this aircraft. They did fly to Terminal 2 back in the day, of course. That used to be like the charter terminal at MSP, Terminal 2, or it used to be called the Humphrey Terminal back then. And there used to just be charter flights there. And it was like 4 gates, and it's Terminal 2 has a really interesting story behind it, and it's still a very interesting little terminal today. Very unique for sure. But yeah, crazy story behind that. Anyways, uh, very nice little model here by Gemini Jets, and interesting that it was commissioned by Champion Air. That's not something that you wouldn't really see today. Of course, Gemini have their deals with airlines like Emirates and stuff, so I mean, like they can, I suppose, commission models. But just like an airline, a small airline like Champion Air that just does charter flights, this wouldn't happen anymore. Or like Vision Airlines, there was a Vision Airlines model from around this time. That was a little bit later, I guess. I think that was 2006 release. Like that wouldn't happen anymore. I don't think. I don't think Gemini Jets would invest that much in making a model for such a tiny airline that pretty much a non-factor in the grand scheme of things. So I think that's just really cool. Bit of aviation history, and then also Gemini Jets history itself, and also I guess MSP airport history. So that's very nice to get right there. And that'll do it for our T-tailed models, and now we'll move in to the rest of our stack right here. We still have 12 more models to unbox in this video, so strap yourselves in. All right, and now we'll move into our A320 family models here for the next portion of this unboxing. So we will begin with this model. This one was part of a trade that I did, my first ever trade, I guess, with the model aviation community, so that's pretty cool. And the model I ended up receiving was this NG Models Delta Airbus A319. So Dreamliner Fan 2016 traded me this one for my Southwest Airlines 737-700 by Herpa without winglets in the Kenyan blue livery. That was a model I didn't really have much use for, and I guess he didn't really have much use for this aircraft anymore, and I gave him like another $10 with it, and I was able to get this model. So another Delta model to add reinforcement to the Delta fleet here for MSP. So can't complain about that. And this one will be better quality than the Aero Classics one as well. This is NG Models, and NG Models always does things spectacularly with their models. So the box is very similar to the one on the A320, the NG Models Delta A320. Same kind of style that is modeled after like the Delta credit cards, and also like their podiums at the gates. At least that's what it reminds me of. So a pretty nice box here by NG Models, and then we'll pop it up and check out the model inside. So a big thank you to Dreamliner Fan 2016 for trading me this model. Yeah, definitely very excited to add this one to the collection, and it will look great at MSP in future airport updates there. So I can get the plastic out here. Here is our model inside, all intact and wonderful. So we'll put all this away. If I can cut this, future me. Will I remember to do that? Hopefully. This is in the video. That is very embarrassing. And what a gorgeous model this is. Big thank you to Dreamliner Fan 2016 for trading me for this aircraft. This will definitely look wonders at MSP. We'll begin. We have our cockpit windows up here, also our nose cone. We have the static port right there. Here is our nose landing gear, and we have a SkyTeam logo. First antenna right there. Here's the Elm boarding door. Delta titles with the Delta widget right there in all its glory. We have our engine down here, the CFM56 on the Delta Airbus aircraft. See our engine, our main gear down there as well. Landing gear roll very well on this model. Here we have our second antenna here on the top of the aircraft. We have a beacon light right there with, here's our overwing exit and exit path on the wing. The wings are very well detailed, of course, as NG Models always never fails to disappoint with that. Here's our winglet as well, looking very nice. Just blue, but that is how it is on these Delta aircraft, except for their A350, I guess. And so, very nice detailed right here with the mold. We have our SATCOM dome up there. Here's the American flag. Registration is November 301, November Bravo. The L2 door back there as well. Here's our Delta widget on the tail, looking absolutely gorgeous. So this model is very similar to the A320, both very similar in quality, but they're both very nice. I also have an antenna there on the bottom. Here's the delta belly on the bottom of the aircraft. The stand hole is taking out a chunk of the E. But other than that, this model looks absolutely fantastic. We do have some cargo bin doors down there on the starboard side of the aircraft. But that is pretty much all that we have for this one. So a very simple model in terms of, I guess, the livery. And you did a great job with the mold, of course. Their Airways 320 family mold is incredible. Never fails to disappoint. And so glad to pick up this model here. And thanks to Dreamliner Fan 2016, would not have gotten this model otherwise. So it is thanks to him that I was, and that trade, that I was able to get this model in the first place. So it'll be a nice reinforcement to MSP, and we'll likely make many appearances in future airport updates. So yeah, that'll do it for this first aircraft of the 320 families. And our next one, now moving into 320 aircraft. Let me get you zoomed out here. I'm a little bit too far zoomed in. Our next aircraft here is this NG Models British Airways Airbus A320neo BA Better World livery. So it's like this all blue livery that looks pretty cool here. So yeah, I saw this one there. This is a model that I need for Riga. I would like to get a standard livery A320 or 320neo from British Airways before I got a special livery, but I saw it there, and it's like, Airliners is the time that you make purchases like this, impulse purchases. This is from Sprue, as you can see with the price tag there on the bottom. So yeah, definitely a model that I guess is not totally needed, but will definitely make use of in the future. In those Riga updates, definitely trying to bolster my Riga airport fleet. I'll hopefully try to make it a little bit more diverse, as oftentimes with those updates we just see the same models over and over and over again. And well, that is, I suppose, just how it has to go for airports like that. It does get a little bit boring after a while, so always trying to add more aircraft to the fleet, and we'll try to do it going into the future. And this model will supplement that. But a very nice box here by NG, and I'm sure the model itself will be even better. I believe this is my first NG 320 Neo. Also forgot the collector card. Here's that. So we'll pop the lid off of there, and here we have our model inside. A very nice blue hues right there. We'll chuck all the plastic off to the side as well, and we'll get it zoomed in on this beauty right here. The BA Better World Airbus 320 Neo by NG Models. So this model was also made by Aero Classics, but I believe this is the second version. I don't think Gemini has made this model, so this is the second release of this model by one of our manufacturer. And this one most surely is better than the Aero Classics version, so I'm definitely glad to pick this one up. I was hoping that NG would make a standard livery of this as well, and they may in the future. I guess I wasn't patient enough for that, so we have this one. I'm pretty sure this one has visited Riga before, but definitely not a common visitor, to say the least. We have our nose coming up here. Once again, the static port. Here are our cockpit windows. We have our nose gear down there. Our L1 boarding door right here with the British Airways, I don't know what you call it, the ribbon, which is normally in red, but here it's just in white on the blue background, but it's still very recognizable for British Airways. We have the BA Better World titles. I assume this is like some sort of eco-friendliness livery. That's what I imagine for the better world, but I'm not entirely 100% sure on that. So if someone in the comments can explain what this livery is exactly is for, I would love to know, because I'm not entirely sure yet. But here we have our Neo engines, which are very accurately sized on NG models rather than on Gemini jets, where they're definitely too big. This is good size for the Neo engines, and NG did a fantastic job modeling those. Landing gear roll phenomenally. We have here our overwing exits and exit paths going down the wing. The bottom of the aircraft just has a stand hole. There's an antenna down there. I guess I have some hair on the model as well already. Not great. I believe there's
some sort of emblem actually after the world. Very faint, like a coat of arms. I can't really see it at all. I can try to. It's like a little crown. Um, can't really see it at all because it's blue on blue. I don't. Not the best design choice, in my opinion, to put a blue crown on a blue background. It's kind of hard to see there, but here we have our winglets, which are just all in gray here for British Airways. I believe that is also the same on their regular livery, 320 with the sharklets on it. They don't have any design, if I remember correctly. We have our most important journey yet titles up here. Here are the proper British Airways titles with their red and blue ribbon, which normally you see up there. Here we have our L2 door, and then the British Airways. That I guess that's like the Union Jack flag, which is normally in their red and blue color scheme, which looks really cool. But this one is all in blue, different shades of blue for this. Go with this livery. So yeah, very cool there. I am a big fan of the British Airways livery and like to get a regular livery British Airways aircraft, which I don't have a model of a regular livery British Airways model yet. So that'll be something to do in the future for sure. But yeah, very nice model right here by NG Models. Will definitely you'll see it in the future at Riga at some point. But nice addition to the collection here, and a very well detailed model and a very cool livery indeed. All right, and we have some more 320s to get into here. Our next model is a Gemini jet, our only Gemini jet out of all these 320 family. We have four of them, and three of the four are NG. But here's our Gemini Jets one, and I have explained my desire to get this model in the past, and finally this was the appropriate opportunity to pick up this model. One of my last purchases, but still ended up picking it up. The Delta A320 by Gemini Jets. So yeah, this is the 2023 release of the Delta 320. Released it pretty much alongside the NG Models one, and I ended up picking up the NG Models one instead of the Gemini Jets one. I think that was probably the wiser choice at first, but I did explain my desire to also get the Gemini Jets one just to add like some reinforcement, because we definitely need that at MSP. We have so many A320s that fly in here, so definitely need to get two of them. And since both NG and Gemini released it, I figured might as well get one of each. But yeah, box is just a standard Gemini Jets box, standard fare going on there. So we'll try to get this open here. I'll bring it off camera so I can use my second hand as well. All right, you get some ASMR with the microphone. Got the box off. Here is the plastic, which we will also get off there. It's stuck on the other end, so there we go. Here's our model. And again, we'll throw the plastic off to the side. It's a problem for another time. Not to deal with right now. Yes, here is our model right here, the Gemini Jets Delta A320. So I think I can already tell that the NG Models one is going to be a little bit better. There's a little bit of a seam there on the wing for sure. So that's definitely a little bit unfortunate. I'll get my pen back here. We'll start with our review. Here we have our nose cone. That seems a little bit... Let me bring the NG one back here. That seems awfully long in the Gemini Jets one. I never really noticed that on the Gemini Jets models before. That the 320 nose cone is definitely a lot longer than it should be. I think the NG model is definitely a little bit more accurate. Also, you can see the size comparison with the engines between the two molds there. Gemini definitely does have to step up their game with this mold, and I definitely know a lot of people who can back me up on that sentiment. But yeah, we have a nose cone right there. Here is our static port. The cockpit windows, the SkyTeam logo. We have our nose gear down there. Here's the L1 boarding door. Of course, our Delta titles with these little emblems that Delta like to put next to the L1 door. We have our CFM56 engines right here, which are too big on this Gemini Jets mold. We have our main gear, landing gear on this aircraft. Do they roll okay? Pretty standard Gemini Jets fare. There's one that's... The nose gear does not roll, and then the main gear, I think the starboard side main gear is stuck, so not the best rolling gear, but again, that's not the biggest deal to me. But but also I never really receive Gemini Just models that are, they're supposed to roll, that actually do roll. So, that's, I guess, something that I just, maybe I'm unlucky with these, but something I've noticed. We have our winglet right here. The wings, of course, very well detailed, pretty similar to the NG stuff. The NG might be a little bit better, but the wings of the Gemini is still very well. Although this wing seam here is a bit, that's pretty obvious. That's a bit disappointing. On this side, it's done much better, but on the port side, there's definitely a seam there, which is very visible. We have our Delta belly down there, stand blocking out a little bit of the T and the A. Gemini Jets logo as well. No antennae on the bottom, but on the top we have the two forward part of the aircraft, the fuselage. We have our beacon. Here is our SATCOM dome, and then the further back antenna. I know there are proper names for these, that I don't know what they are. We had the American flag registration is November 376 November Whiskey, and here is the Delta tail, of course, looking very nice right there. So yeah, again, a very simple model here, as pretty much all the Delta ones are. There's not too much to go over with them, but a very clean livery and decent model as well. Definitely the NG one is better, but the NG one also might be a little bit hard to find now, so it's still a decent model if you want a Delta 320, because these also will probably get rare in the future. Like the last 320 release for Delta is definitely quite rare now. It's hard to find those, so I would recommend, if you need a Delta 320, to pounce on it now and get, if you can, the NG one, but the Gemini is still a decent model for you. Final model of the 320s here, we have another NG, and this one I'm very excited to add to the fleet. It is the JetBlue A320 in the new Spotlight livery. So yeah, this one, I was wanting to get the Phoenix one with the fence tip winglets, but they had this one there, and I figured it's still the same livery, so I might as well just pick it up, because I didn't see the Phoenix one. The Phoenix one, probably the mold is worse, although the model still looked pretty good from the images that I've seen. But I figured I might as well pick up the NG one, and it will be a nice addition to the JetBlue fleet. Another pickup from Sprue. I actually picked up this one and the British Airways one, both at the same time, and also the Delta CRJ900 that you saw at the very beginning of the video, and another model that we'll get to in a little bit here. Those are all in one purchase. That was over $100 from Sprue, and I still ended up spending. That purchase was like $150, and I ended up spending a little over $200 there. So definitely plenty of my, like half of my budget went there. Oops. Anyways, we'll pull this out now. We have our collector card right here, which got a little bit bent, but still a nice collector card to add to get some points on these NG models. We'll put the box off to the side. The box is very nice, designed by NG models, but you saw it has the spotlight design as the model does. So we will pop off the plastic there. Here we have our model inside in a very nice blue color. Of course, for JetBlue, you'd expect it to be blue, and now they're really playing into the blue game, because now their new livery's even more blue than before, which you can't complain about, because blue's a very nice color. And so yeah, glad to see JetBlue doing their thing here with these new liveries. And I think definitely the 321, the Spotlight one, this one's my personal favorite over the 321. Don't much care for the 321, but this 320 livery, very much like it. We have our nose cone right there. We have our cockpit windows. There's the title of the aircraft, which is Blue Yorker on this one. We have our nose gear down there. Here's the L1 boarding door. The first antenna right there. Here is the JetBlue billboard titles, which is in white this time on the blue background instead of vice versa. It's basically a reverse livery for JetBlue, which is very interesting, because normally it's this, but the colors are reversed. So this is definitely very creative marketing approach, and I do very much like this one as well. I like it more than the regular Spotlight livery, or their old Spotlight livery, I suppose. We have our overwing exits right here, and our exit paths. Our exit paths going down the wing. You can see right there. Wing's also very well designed. Landing gear, of course, they roll very well on this one. Here we have our IAE engines, which JetBlue uses, looking very nice. The Sharklet is in orange, which is definitely a very nice, very well designed, and definitely very interesting because normally orange is not part of JetBlue's color scheme, but it does add a nice like contrast. Oops, kick my light. It does add a nice contrast to the blue, of course, because they're complementary colors. So that's, I guess, a smart decision with the design of this livery. We have our SATCOM dome right here, 2 more antennae further back. As I tip the model over again. We have the American flag registrations, remember, 821 Juliet Bravo. Airbus A320 down there. And here we have our spotlights, of course. With the spotlight livery, you have to have the spotlight design, which you can see right here. And instead of these being in like blue and a white background, or white and light blue on a blue background, as I've said so many times so far. But yeah, it's a very cool livery. I really like this one by JetBlue. Also, we do have a JetBlue belly on this one, so that's very cool. Love that. Love when airlines put their logo on the belly of the aircraft. So yeah, very nice new livery here by JetBlue. Definitely a big fan of this one. Like I said, I would prefer to get it with the fence tip winglets, but definitely cannot complain about this model. It looks very nice and a very good job by NG Models of replicating it, and I'm very, very glad to add this one to the collection. Definitely will be making future appearances in airport updates, as JetBlue presumably will paint more of their aircraft like this as well. It will get even more common, so definitely a good pickup for those reasons. But yeah, that'll do it for our review of the JetBlue A320, and that is the final of our A320 family aircraft. We'll now move on to some larger aircraft here. We now have 4 757s to get to next. So strap yourselves in for 4 757s, all 757-200s in a row, which will be our next 4 models to unbox. And now we'll move on to our multitudes of 757 models, beginning with one from the one and only Sprue Brothers Model Store. This one, they were kind enough to give me for $20. This was my last purchase at Airline, or my last model purchase, I guess, because I purchased the safety cards, the Delta safety cards last. But this was my last model purchase there, and I had a $20 bill left. And I was like, I'm gonna buy something here, and I'm gonna give you this $20 bill because I might as well spend all my cash, because I don't have any other use for cash. So, what do I use my last $24 on? And this ended up being a majority of the $20. This America West 77-200 by Gemini Jets. So, yeah, it says this is $30, but I think they might have felt bad for me because I spent so much money at their stand that they're like, you can just have it for $20, that's fine. So, thanks to Sprue again for all their great deals. It was a pleasure doing business with them throughout the convention. They're great people, and so yeah, glad to pick up this model as well from them. This America West 77-200. I don't have any America West models, so I figured I saw it there, and it was like the one that I was willing to hand over $20 for. So I don't have any America West models except for the American Heritage Livery one that they don't even fly anymore because that was $319. So it was due. I was due to get my first America West model, I guess, and would have preferred it to be like an A320 or a 319. But the 77 will do. It was the only one that they had there, and I figured might as well go for it. I do really like the livery, so I think it was definitely worth it. As you can see, it's definitely yellowed a bit. This is definitely an old model. I wonder when this was released. This is doesn't even say on the box when it was released. It's old enough to say that it was not recommended for children under 8 years, which is now 14. So definitely that shows its age, but I cannot find a release date for this model, so I'm not entirely sure when this was released. But the box is really cool. It's not like your standard Gemini Jet Sphere. It's in that America West like teal turquoise color, which is really cool. I really like that color that America West used towards the end of their life. Yeah, very yellow. Packaging right there. And we'll get that all squared away here for the America West 77. Make some room here. Here we go. Here is the model in all of its glory. Some retro Gemini Jets action right here. So yeah, definitely a very Very nice livery right here, and a very nice retro model to add to the collection. We'll see if this makes any appearances in future airport updates. I'm not entirely sure, because I don't believe this flew to any of my airports, even in retro times, at least the 757. I know MSP got America West service, but I believe it was in the 320s only. But yeah, we'll begin up here. We have our nose cone, our cockpit window right there. Here we have our L1 door. The main gear, the landing gears do not roll in this model, by the way. This is before that was really a thing. Also, it is a cradle mold model, so once again, pointing out the age of this particular model right here. We have our America West billboard titles. They were one of the first airlines to do like proper billboard like that, so that's pretty cool to see. Have a beacon up there. Here's our L2 door. Both of these could be used for boarding, depending on whatever the situation was. This is in the this is the low density configuration with the 4 exit doors on each side and no overwing exits. So that's the U.S. Airways then took these and they had the same configuration. That's kind of how you can tell these apart. And then I believe American did not. When American and U.S. Airways merged, they did not take these, if I remember correctly, because I believe all the American ones I've seen have had the higher density configuration, which is what American had. So don't know what happened to these after the U.S. Airways American merger, but yeah, that's, I guess, something I know is something to point out. We have our engines right here with the America West logo and like a lighter shade of the turquoise color on the darker shade with the orange there as well. Very nice. I definitely love this color scheme. And it's a nice contrast and just a very unusual colors that you don't really see in other liveries, so that's pretty cool. Moving further back here, we have our L3 door. Here we have like the lines that U.S. Airways kept after their merger. Like the U.S. Airways livery after the America West merger was very similar to this livery, which I think is a wise choice. The U.S. Airways old livery was also pretty cool, actually. I don't have any models of it, but it was also a cool livery. But U.S. Airways stuck with this design to commemorate America West. We have a registration down there, which is number 909 Alpha Whiskey, and then the America West tail with it's like the turquoise color again with the orange-red logo. Yeah, very nice livery, and definitely glad to add this one to the collection. Yeah, very cool. Nothing much more to go over on it. Honestly, that's kind of why I'm running out of words. We have a stand holder in the bottom, Gemini just logo, but no antennae on this model. It shows its age, I guess, but nice retro model to add to the collection, and a good job by Gemini Jets on this one, and glad to add this one to the retro collection. Our next retro model will also, it's another 757, will also be probably of more use for future retro airport updates, as it is more regional to at least one of my airports, and so I guess that really hints at what the airline is. Yes, it is Northwest. It is the Northwest Airlines 77-200 and the bowling shoe livery. And as you can see, this is only $20 as well. Really great deal for this model, for sure. So here we see the aircraft inside. Not much yellowing to the plastic at all, so that's very nice. Here we see the flap with all the details. Also, you can see this is in the older Gemini Jets box. This is a release back from 2001. So, yeah, definitely some retro action here with these 757s. Yeah, we'll pop this one out of the box. A little bit yellowed there with the plastic, but you can barely see it on camera. It's not that bad at all. And I don't really mind if it's yellowed. not a big deal to me. So we'll throw that off to the side. Of course, the pile next to me is getting it's like a airplane box graveyard almost. But yeah, here we have our model right here in the gorgeous bowling shoe livery by Northwest Airlines. So here we have our cockpit windows right here. Here's our nose gear, L1 boarding door. I suppose L2 could also be used for a boarding door. We have the American flag down here, which is unique to Northwest aircraft. Normally it's backed by the registration, but they put it in this bottom part of the fuselage behind the L1 door. We have our Northwest titles right there. The livery itself is pretty cool. I'm a big fan of the bowling shoe livery personally. I think I would have to say it's probably my favorite of the Northwest liveries. Yeah, I would say so. I'm trying to think of all the Northwest liveries to see if there's another one that I prefer, but I think this is my favorite one. With the white underbelly, then we have this black stripe that kind of grows as you go further back in the fuselage, which separates that from the gray, and then the red on top. Very interesting design for sure, but it looks very nice. But yeah, here we have our engines. Once again, this is in the cradle mold. This is the same mold as the America West one, although this is the higher density configuration. You can see with the overwing exits right there, and there you see the exit pass going down the wing itself, well detailed. No winglets on this one either. And then we have our main gear, of which of course do not roll. Gemini Jets logo with the jets in silver, and the stand hole as well. So a very nice underbelly. No antennae on this one either, as you'd expect from this mold. Wouldn't have it. I guess I also forgot to mention on the last model that the horizontal stabilizers are also cradled with this mold. So that's a bit interesting. They definitely do not do that anymore. We have our registration back here, which is number 548 Uniform Sierra. And then our L3 door. Here is the Northwest Airlines tail with the Northwest logo right there in all of its glory. Definitely very much love this livery and this era of aviation in general. It would have been cool to go back to MSP at this time and see all of Northwest aircraft bowling shoe and in their final livery. And I believe they kept around some aircraft in like the thermometer livery for a while, maybe not until like the 2000s. But yeah, a nice addition here to the Northwest collection. Definitely that's been growing. I guess I have not added a new Northwest model in a while, so it's good to add a new one here from Airliners. There'll be my second 757-200 for them, but my first one in the bowling shoe livery from the 752. I do have a lot of bowling shoe models though, so I do want to diversify my Northwest fleet a little bit in terms of liveries. Definitely that will be something I want to do in the future, but nice to acquire a new Northwest model here. And our next model is another retro model, now going back into some NG stuff here. This one's more modern release, but still a retro model. Actually, I'll move the camera back here so we can capture a little bit more of the box. This one, another one from Sprue, of course. The Northwest one was not from Sprue, but this one is. The NG models, Boeing 757-200, American Airlines. This is the Susan G. Komen for the Cure Breast Cancer Awareness livery. So yeah, this is a model that I sort of wanted to pick up from NG Models, and I couldn't really justify buying it, at least for the price that it was at, but $25 it was just I could justify that. So it has, as it says here, it's missing a wheel. Not a big deal to me, so we'll just chuck that off to the side. But yeah, I wanted to get another American aircraft in the chrome livery, and as a cancer survivor myself, I thought I kind of have a thing where I want to collect like the cancer awareness models. I know there's like some controversy with Susan G. Komen and like the whole pink ribbon thing, and I'm not a total expert on that, so I'm not really going to speak about it, but I'll definitely say I'm more of a fan of American's campaign of Stand Up to Cancer, which they currently are doing with their Stand Up to Cancer livery. I think they have a more credible history. So definitely appreciate what American Airlines is doing with that, and I do love that livery, and I'm super glad that I have that model as well. Definitely very nice. But we will get this one out of here. This one does come with a collector card, which I'm kind of surprised that they have this on one of these bin models. These defect models, I do have a collector card for this one. When was this release? Was this a 2022 release? I guess NG doesn't put it on the boxes. I can't remember if this is a 2022 or 2023. Or no, there's a sticker right here. This is a 2023 release. So that's very nice. So this is a fairly new model still. There's our missing wheel. They're nice enough to tape it to the side of the plastic there. Although it's missing the other wheel, so it's probably not really going to stick in to the whatever you want to call it, the main gear. There you can see it. It's probably not going to stay because I don't have the other wheel. So I'll probably just leave it as is. But once again, missing a wheel like that, not a super big deal to me. Of course, it does take some realism from the model, but it was $25. And actually, I got it for $15 because it was on deal day when I got this, and or no, $20, yeah, because it was deal day. And this is they took $5 off narrow bodies and $10 off wide bodies from the defect bins. So I actually got it for $20, which is fantastic. See, another great deal from Sprue. They were doing a great job, needless to say, during that convention, with their deal bin. Definitely sold a lot of models from there, and it definitely showed. So, yeah, we'll start with our review here. We have our nose cone right there. Here are the cockpit windows right there. We also see the beginning of our pink ribbon that goes down the fuselage there with the 3 stripes in the American chrome livery. We have our L1 door right there with the One World emblem. There is the nose gear. Here are the American titles right here. Definitely love this livery a whole lot, by the way. This is probably I mean, everyone says this is their favorite American livery, but this is you can't beat this. It's a great livery. We have our one antenna there on the top of the aircraft, and I don't see any holes for anymore. So I guess that is the only antenna that would be on this one. I also didn't say that there were any missing antennas, so yeah, we have two on the bottom as well. There we see our missing main gear, but other than that, the landing gear do roll well on this model. Nothing really going on with the engines here, but that is how it was in the chrome livery. We have our AA.com winglets there with the ribbon as well. Winglets also look fantastic on this one. I love everything about this livery. So I'm glad to pick up another one because I only had the MD82 from Dragon Wings before in this chrome livery, so glad to pick up another model in this livery because I think it looks fantastic. The ribbon continues up the tail. It goes by the whatever it says here, proud sponsor of Susan G. Komen for the Cure. Registration on this aircraft is number 664 Alpha Alpha, and here we see the American Airlines logo on the tail with the American flag there on the top. So, yeah, very nice model right here by NG Models Mold. Absolutely fantastic on this one. Missing that one wheel, but that's again not a big deal. And glad to pick this one up from Sprue. A nice addition to the retro fleet. Just a visually appealing aircraft in general. So glad to pick this one up for that reason, and also I guess the personal connection of me having cancer. I did not have breast cancer, but all of the aircraft that advocate for cancer research or whatever, I just kind of want to have for that reason. So Gemini Jets did announce the future release of the Delta 767-400 in the breast cancer awareness livery. And I know Panda also released it. It's going to be coming out in October for Panda. So we'll see who gets to it first, if it's Gemini or Panda. Whichever one does, I will purchase that model, and that'll be a future purchase for me, getting the Delta 767-400 and the breast cancer awareness livery. But now you have the American one, you have the stand-up to cancer one, and we have breast cancer for American. So very nice model right here. Livery fantastic on this one, and a nice addition to the retro collection. You have one more 757, and once again it is a 757-200, and again, another NG model as well. Another one from Sprue too. So this is one that I got on day 2. So the price tag that you see on the model on the box is the price that I paid for it. And this one I saw this one at the DG Pilot booth. Sprue was across the walk from us. I saw this one there. I saw someone pick it up, and I was like, if someone doesn't buy that, I am buying that model immediately. And this is the 2019 release NG model 77-200, UPS 77-200. So definitely this is one of the first NG 1-400 scale models. So kind of a blast of the past. This might be my earliest NG model release. I'm not entirely sure on that, 100%, but definitely some retro action right here. As you can see, 2019. So very cool for sure. Here we see the box. This is also in the Synchronizing the World of Commerce livery, which UPS does not have anymore. So it is, I guess, a little bit outdated there. I don't know if they think they still have a few aircraft painted this way, but they are removing. They're just making the worldwide services lettering bigger, and they're removing the Synchronizing the World of Commerce titles on these aircraft. But yeah, very nice box here, and we'll see like the older style NG 77. Like the American one also had it, but this one, once I get it out of the box, you'll see they just stuck tape on the bottom. They didn't have like the bottom plastic cradle. There was just tape there. I assume it like wasn't locked. This model is still in perfect condition, so I assume that is just how it was in the box originally. I'm not 100% sure, but I believe that's just how it came back in those days. So definitely interesting to see how NG has changed, and I think their newer packaging that they use now without the foam is preferable to the foam. So it's good that NG has advanced to their current packaging, which I think is even better than how it was before. So good job from them on still advancing and all that, and giving us high quality models. So yeah, we'll get this centered on camera here. Bring our trusty pen back in frame here. We have our nose cone right there. Here are the cockpit windows. Here's our L1 door. Main gear down there. Here are the worldwide services titles as I was talking about before, but underneath them synchronizing the world of commerce. We have, of course, the cargo door right here, right in the side of the fuselage. Our engine. Main gear down there. The landing gear on this one roll perfectly as well. 1 antenna there on the top, and then we have the 2 on the bottom, of course, as we also saw in the American 77-200. Pretty simple livery overall. It's kind of, I guess, easier to see from the top. Just sort of the brown swoosh from UPS with yellow accenting as well, going up to the front of the aircraft. I do like the livery for UPS. I prefer it over the FedEx livery, to be honest. But yeah, nothing really crazy going on here for this livery, but a nice addition to the cargo collection, I guess. I suppose it's a little bit early for me to say that because I'm still in my review. Number 418 Uniform Papa is our registration. UPS logo right there on the tail, looking very nice. And yeah, that's pretty much it. It's pretty simple livery in all, but a nice model here by NG. And yeah, even back then they were making phenomenal molds for the 77. As you can see here, this is, I believe, their first 1/400 scale mold, and they did a great job with it, as you can see here. And I believe they're still using the same one to this day, which maybe it's been tweaked a little bit in time, but they're still using the same one, and it's still fantastic. So they don't need to change it anytime soon. In my eyes, I guess I think this is a fantastic mold by NG Models, and a nice model as well. I'm very surprised that Sprue had this in their defects bin, their deal bin, I guess, because not every model in there was a defect, as you can clearly see. This isn't a defect. The America West didn't have any defects either. So yeah, I'm not sure why they were $35. Also a great price for this model. I've never seen this model like on eBay or anything. So I guess they just had it left over, and I suppose I was lucky to find it in there. And this will be a nice addition to the UPS fleet. They do fly these to MSP, Tampa, some of my airports, so it will be useful at those model airports, specifically MSP. I do plan on using this one pretty consistently there, so definitely look forward to seeing it in future MSP updates, because we do get these quite a bit. I have spotted them there quite a bit as well, so yeah, nice model to add to the collection right here, and quite a rare one as well. So thanks to Sprue for the deal on this one, and having it there, and glad to have picked it up from them. So that'll do it for our narrow bodies in 1/400 scale. Now we'll move on to our 1/400 scale wide bodies, where we have 3 1/400 wide bodies to get to next. So let's cut to that. And now we'll move into our wide bodies here, and we're starting with 2 from Sprue, of course. Half these models are from Sprue, so not really a surprise, I suppose. But these are 2 models, or 2 airlines rather, that I did not have any models for previously, and just, I suppose, felt like the right time to just get some variety in my collection, and I got these for good prices as well, so it ended up being worth it in the end. But yeah, we will. These were also both deal day purchases, so they were cheaper than the listed price by $10 each. So again, good deal. So our first one here is this Thai Airways 787-8 Dreamliner by Phoenix. This is the only Phoenix model that I picked up during the convention. And this is, I believe, an older Phoenix model. I could not find a release date for this one on the box, and I didn't bother looking it up either, so my bad there. Yeah, 787-8 here for Thai. I did not have a Thai model yet, and I do really love their livery. I think they're a really cool airline. I wanted to get a 350 from them, but they didn't have that one there, and I didn't also want to spend a whole bunch of money getting a Thai model that I wouldn't really use in airport updates, because I'm really just getting this one for a display piece, because I don't have really much use for a Thai model in any of my airports. But I did want to get one just for the aesthetics, because like I said, I do really love their livery. I think they're a really cool airline, so might as well pick one up for that. You can see the plastic is a little bit yellowed on this one, and I think this is an older model, but not sure exactly when this was released. But I don't expect to see too much detail on this one, as it is an old Phoenix mold, so not a whole lot going on with this one. So we'll pop this one out of the plastic here, and we'll throw that off all to the side. Not too much going on with the box on that one. Hopefully the model will make up for it. I think you do roll on this one. That's a bit surprising, but that's nice to see. As we'll get it zoomed in on this model right here. You know, we'll zoom in more, and we'll kind of go by section here. So yeah, we will begin with our having to move models out of the way so I can. I'm stacking the side of my table here with all the models I've previously unboxed, and I don't have enough room for my arm anymore to do this, so I had to move the UPS 757 to the other side of the table. Anyways, we'll begin with our cockpit windows right here. Here's the Star Alliance logo. Can't quite read what that says. I'm not really sure if that's like a slogan or something. There's some words down there. We have detailing for some pitot tubes right there. Here we have our nose gear and nose landing gear door. L1 door right there. Here is the Thai titles with their logo as well. L2 door right here. Beacon up there. Here we have our engines, of course, which look very nice with the chevron design and all that. Also, we have our main gear down there. As Phoenix models, for some reason they have like a very metallic, very shiny landing gear wheel wells, which is unique to them. But the landing gear do roll on this model, so that's a nice surprise. We have our wings here, which there's a little bit too much wing flex, I think, for this one. It's not too bad, but I believe that is a little bit too much, at least for like if an aircraft is resting. Like that would be good for if it's on takeoff or something. But yeah, a little bit too much wing flex. But I'm not going to beat up Phoenix about it too much, because it's not extreme like the Hogan mold, which had wing flex that was like above the fuselage, which is pretty crazy. It looked really funny, but yeah, this one's definitely better. We have our L3 door registration. This one is Hotel Sierra - Tango Hotel Alpha, and L4 back there. The back there looks really cool. It's like the paint that they use for this is very metallic, so it's very shiny, which I think looks. I don't know if you can quite see it. You can kind of see it on camera, at least with the gold, but it makes a very cool visual for sure, because they have like there's like a little bit of gloss in there, which I don't think is super realistic, but at least it looks cool, and that's what matters here. Again, I'm not like going to get this model for any airport purposes. This is really just this model I got just because it looked cool, and I didn't really notice all the gloss at first, but that is kind of cool in my opinion. I don't know how realistic that is though. On Thai, the horizontal stabilizers are in purple, which is very. I don't think there's any other airlines that do that. I know some that do it in other colors, but purple is very unique here, and you can definitely see the purple's influence throughout this livery, which is very cool. We have the logo right there, and then the Thai flag, the flag of Thailand, on the tail, and AQ detailing back there, all that fun stuff. Pretty simple model, no antennae on this one. I guess this came out before that was really a big thing, but it's probably, like I said, I'm not sure when this model was released, so I'm guessing it was like in that transitional time period from when they were started to do rolling gear and adding antennae to models. This one has rolling gear, does not have antennae. So, but a very nice model anyways by Phoenix, and there are other things they could have done better, but it was a good deal for $25 what I ended up paying for this one because it was discounted 10 for deal day. So good pickup. New airline in the fleet, and yeah, now you can see models that are off to the left, and here are the models off to the right. So I'm losing space here on my table, so you might get some of those in the background of these next few shots here. Our next wide body here, another one from Sprue. This one was only $15 with the discount, so a great deal again. Another new airline in the collection, and this one is Qatar on their 777-300ER. By NG Models is in the World Cup, FIFA World Cup 2022, which is in Qatar. And yeah, again, it has missing wheels, but as I did with the American one, we're just going to throw that off to the side because we don't need it anymore. Not a super big deal to me, especially if when I got this one for $15, that's a $25, but I got a $10 discounted. So 15, not bad at all for a 777-300. That's a great deal. So the box is pretty cool. It has like the Qatar logo. You can barely see it, but it is there, kind of throughout the box with the like that pattern for the World Cup logo throughout. So yeah, nice box here. This was a 2023 release. Same release as the American 77-200. You can see by the date there. So that is a cool feature, I suppose. I intentionally bought two models from the same release set. And this one does have like the updated 777 box, as you can see, the plastic. We'll just chuck the box off to the side again. This one I'm going to have to open off camera because it's too big for me to do one-handed on camera. But yeah, I'll bring the model on frame here. And again, looking absolutely gorgeous there. The red on this model is absolutely fantastic. And I've misplaced my pen. There it is. Can't lose my Sprue pen for these reviews. But yeah, we'll begin up here. Well, actually, we'll do the thing that we did with the Thai model again, where we'll zoom in and then we'll take it one bit at a time. So yeah, we'll begin. We have our cockpit windows right there. There's some sort of name. I guess that's then like the name of the aircraft, but I can't read what that says at all. So yeah, not sure what this aircraft is. I presume that's what that is for. We have the nose gear down there, and here is our L1 door, the One World logo right there. Here are the Qatar billboard titles right there. We have our SATCOM dome up there, first antenna. Also, in the middle of the Qatar billboard, we have the L2 door. I assume that says Qatar Airlines, or I believe they're Qatar Airways. Yeah, they're Qatar Airways in Arabic. I assume. I don't know Arabic. We have our L3 door, which exits over the wing. You can see here, exit pass going down the wing. The wing itself is very well detailed. There we see our missing main gear, which is not in the box. On this one, it's not taped to the side either. So that's just flat out missing. Not a super big deal to me. I have plenty of models with missing wheels, and I guess I would say it's worth it for $15. We have the Qatar logo right there, and we also have a little soccer ball, football, as this is for this is the World Cup livery, and I'll talk more about that I guess in a little bit. We have the L4 door right there. That's some debris on the model. We'll just get that off. Come on. There we go. Just got to remove some debris there. But yeah, we have our FIFA World Cup Qatar 2022 logo right there. And I'm sure if you watched it on TV, then you definitely recognize this appearing at every ad break. Have another SATCOM dome up there. Two more antennae for the back here. L5 door. Registration of this aircraft is Alpha 7-Bravo Echo Charlie. And here is the flag of Qatar. And then here we have the, I believe that's the antelope on the tail. So very nice aircraft right here. Very good detailing here on the engines. Wow, the engines as well are very well detailed. Wow. Very nice model by NG here, and again a great deal for only $15. That's crazy. NG did a fantastic job on this one. I wanted to get this model because I don't have a Qatar model in my fleet, so it was nice to add a new airline to the collection, as I said. And also, this World Cup kind of got me into football. Um, I was sort of into it before, but watching it and being able to watch it and all that kind of got me into it, and now I'm a football fan. Go Loons! So yeah, I kind of wanted to get this livery for that reason. It's not my favorite of their World Cup liveries, to be honest. I like the one that had, I believe it was the World Cup trophy, and it had like, it was basically the main. It was the regular Qatar livery with just a little emblem there in the back. And I don't believe they're flying around with these anymore. This is, I think, outdated now. But like I said, I wanted to get a new airline for the collection, and I do have some personal connection to this livery. Of course, I don't love the fact that it was in Qatar, because there were definitely stadiums were built with not the best of human rights, to say the least. So, and there's corruption and all that of determining where the locations of the World Cup was. So, you know how it is with FIFA. They're a little bit weird. So yeah, didn't love the the location, to say the least. But I mean, personally, it did get me into the sport, which I suppose is worth something. But yeah, I'm a big fan of the Loons. Wish we could be doing better right now, but you know, things are not going great. I don't know how we won everything at the beginning, and now we're losing everything in the middle of the season. But hopefully we can get Tony and Dane St. Clair back. I should stop talking about that and focus on these model unboxings, which we will now move on to our final of our 1 to 400 1 to 400 scale models. And another wide body here, another 777-300ER actually. This one being a Gemini Jets model. This one is the KLM 777-300 in the Orange Pride livery. This is the new Orange Pride livery that KLM recently unveiled, and yeah, looks absolutely gorgeous there already with the flap. Great livery. The KLM livery already is fantastic, and then you have Orange Pride, and it's just beautiful. Once again, it's the standard Gemini Jets box, but we will remove this model because we want to see this thing in all its glory. NG models and Phoenix both did a release of this aircraft, and I did see the Phoenix model there. I didn't see the NG one, but I was happy enough going for the Gemini Jets one because the 777-300 mold from Gemini is one of their best molds, in my opinion. I think you can definitely compete with NG. I think the Aviation 400 one still is the best 777-300 mold, but Gemini is still really good. So I'm still happy to pick up Gemini 777-300s because they do a great job with that mold. We'll check again the plastic off to the side. This is a massive pile out here of airplane boxes and plastic. So here we have our model in the flesh, looking absolutely, look at that orange is so vibrant. I love this livery so much. So this one is an addition technically for MSP. We don't get 777-300s at MSP. We get 777-200s, but it's closer than the 787 and 330-200 that I have currently from KLM for MSP. And I don't know if any 777-200s have been released at all recently for KLM, so it didn't really seem realistic to pick up any of those. But yeah, we have this Orange Pride 777-300, and it looks absolutely fantastic. So we have our nose cone there, our cockpit windows. Here is our main landing gear and main landing gear door, all that fun stuff. The L1 boarding door, I suppose you can also use L2. You can use both on 777-300ER. KLM Royal Dutch Airlines titles in white on the orange background. And I'm trying to read what that says. This National Park, I'm going to reference the box. Maybe that will help me. National Park, I can't read what it says. It's a national park, I assume, in the Netherlands, that the aircraft is named after, because I think KLM, I assume they just name all their planes after. I know they have. I'm pretty sure they have some sort of naming system for their aircraft, and like each aircraft type is named after some like landmark or historic thing in the Netherlands. So this one's named after some national park, I guess. Maybe all the 777s are named after parks. We have the antenna there on the top. We also have a beacon as well there. Here's where we see the Dutch flag kind of go up here. Orange is like the national color of the Netherlands, and they're definitely not shy about it. If even like the Dutch, the Amsterdam uh, aviation fair people there, they're all decked out in orange. If you go to a Formula One race and see the Max Verstappen section, they're all gonna be in orange. Um, yeah, the Dutch are very patriotic, and they definitely make it known with their orange, and that's what we see here. But we see the Dutch flag, and then we move into the regular KLM livery in the back half of the aircraft here. So we see, yeah, L3 door exit pass going down the wing. We have our engine right there. Here are our main gear, which we do have all the wheels for on this one. And the landing gear, they do roll quite well for a Gemini Jets model, so that's good to see. Also, we do have gear tilt on this one, unlike the NG models one. So that's a nice feature. There we have our stand hole, Gemini Jets logo down there. No antennae on the bottom of this model. Gemini does not like to put antennae. I'm trying to. It looks like there is one on the NG models one, so there should be one like back here towards the rear of the fuselage on the Gemini Jets one, which is not there, not present. Satcom dome right there. We have two more antennae back here. Registration on this one is Papa Hotel - Bravo Victor Alpha. Dutch flag, flag of the European Union, and then you see the Flying Dutchman down there. All this in the standard KLM fare. Here we see the KLM Air France partnership thing, Boeing 777, and then the KLM tail. I'm running it into my Qatar 777 here. But yeah, a very nice livery from KLM and a nice pickup here. Gemini Jets did a fantastic job on this one. Really like the colors of the orange and the blue contrasting there. I think they definitely nailed the color very well. So fantastic job by Gemini Jets on this one. And that'll do it for the 1 to 400 scale models. We still do have one more model left, and it is a 1 to 200 scale model, and a very exciting one to say the least. So we will get to that one next. And with all the 1 to 400 scale models out of the way, we have one more model to get to, and it is a 1 to 200 model, and a very exciting one indeed that I got also for a pretty cheap price for a 1 to 200 model, especially considering what it is. So we'll bring it on here, and it is this completely blank box right here. So yeah, another thing really hinting on much what it is here. But if you go around on the other side, there we go. Here you can see what is inside of this box. It is a 1 to 200 scale Bombardier CRJ900 in an all-white livery. And you can see it's only $35, so a very, very good deal for this. Actually got it for only $30 too. So definitely a steal right here. So this is a promotional model here for the CRJ900. So this is that's why it's all blank, and also why there's nothing on the box. It's just a promotional model. So that's what is also kind of cool about this, because definitely there weren't many of these made. So this is definitely a great find that you can really only get at Airliners and other conventions similar to it. So we'll open the flap there. Here we can see our stand, which is wooden. It comes with a screw as well for a little metal piece there, which we will set up the stand later. But also get the model out here, and there she is in all her glory, the CRJ900, all blank, but a very nice model indeed. We'll put it off to the side there. We'll actually start with the stand, and then we'll move into the model here. So the stand does require a little bit of assembly. I think I can put it together without the need of the screw. So look at our two pieces here. We have this thing I should just put a massive fingerprint on. That is very reflective, as we see here. It says Bombardier. You can't really see it at all, can you? I'll move myself to make it a little bit more visible. CRJ900 and scale 1 to 200. And then we also have the other piece to the stand. And if we go on the bottom, we can see how this should kind of just fit in there. And it's a little bit tricky to fit in. But that, I think this is why you don't really need the screw, because it's such a tight fit that it should just hold it in anyways. Just doing this one-handed, just kind of shove it in like that, and that should pretty much just do the trick right there. As long as you're not doing anything too crazy with the stand. Unfortunately, I got the fingerprint on the little Bombardier logo, but you know, that's not a big deal to me. I don't really intend on putting the model in the stand. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. We'll see. We'll now bring the model in frame here. This 1 to 200 blank CRJ900. a very unique model indeed, that I'm super glad to add to the collection. Move the stand out of the way so it's not a distraction in the background. So yeah, what a very nice model right here. This is in the JC Gemini mold, as I believe they are the only ones in 1:200 scale that have the CRJ900, also in 1:400 scale as well for that matter. So this would be their mold. But yeah, nothing descriptive on the box or anything on, the mold or anything. But this is the JC Gemini mold. So yeah, I'll start with our review up here. We have our nose cone, which is very well detailed and all that. Some compartments off to the side there as well. We have our nose landing gear doors and the nose landing gear itself, which does roll, as you can see here, and it's also very well detailed. We have the cockpit windows and a little escape hatch there on the top as well. Here we have our L1 boarding door, which of course also there's no windows on the door or anything because, sorry, I bumped the camera there. There's no windows on it, of course, because it doubles as air stairs for the aircraft. We have our first antenna right here, and then also there's one on the bottom of the fuselage as well. We have a little beacon there on the top of the aircraft, which I believe is a 3D beacon. It's kind of hard. It's pretty small, but it is a 3D beacon, so that is very nice. You can definitely feel it if you run your finger over it. So that is a very nice feature. We have two cargo doors down here, two luggage doors on the bottom of the fuselage. Another beacon down there on the bottom. I didn't even see that one. So another beacon down there. We have a little cutout area for fire crew. And yeah, I mean, there's nothing really much to go over on the fuselage because it's just all blank. There's no logos or anything. Because, as I said, it is just an all blank model, a promotional piece for Bombardier or a corporate model or something like that. Here we have our main gear down here. Also the main gear wheel well. We have our stand hole down there as well. You can definitely see that is the Gemini Jet's JC Wing style. Landing gear roll very well on this model, as you would expect of 1:200. They can't really get them to work on 1:400, but they can do them well on 200, so that's, I guess, what's most important. But here we have our winglets and the wings themselves right here. Again, well detailed. There's a little bit of a seam there. Now, this is a cradle mold. I don't know if the mold is still this way. I don't know when this model came out or anything. I assume it's probably at least 10 years old. But yeah, I really do not have any clue on when this model came out. But you can see there's a little bit of a seam there with the cradle mold and everything. So I don't know if it's still. I don't have any CRJs by Gemini Jets or JC Wings. So if any of you out there have one, you can let me know if this is still the case with the 1:200 CRJs, if they are still in the cradle mold. But this one is. We have another antenna down there, or something. I assume that's an antenna, just on the bottom left of the fuselage, port side. Here we have our main cargo door underneath the engines here. Looking very nice. Also plenty of detail inside the engines. I can move my fingers out of the way. Definitely very nice. Of course, this being a T-tail, we have our T-tail here. Again, all blank, but looks nice. And then detailing for the APU and all that in the back of the aircraft. So yeah, not much to go over in terms of delivery, of course, but the model itself does look really. Oh, is the nose gear? The nose gear swivels. Unless that was. Let me look at this again. Yeah, it does. It the nose gear. I don't know if we're gonna really be able to get this on camera, but it's kind of hard to do one-handed. But it does slightly swivel. I don't know if it's supposed to, but you can see it there. I don't want to mess around with that too much and break it, but I hope that it's supposed to do that. And if so, it's a really cool feature that I just didn't know existed on these. I mean, I knew it existed on the. I have some A321s, 1:200 scale, which do have the swiveling nose gear. but it's cool that they also were able to model that on the CRJs as well. So now we'll put it on the stand, because it does come with the stand. So sorry that I made it darker there. You can just slide it in, hopefully. Not working. I guess it is advantageous to have the screw, just so that the thing doesn't slide. I'm gonna bring it off camera here to try and put it on. Oh, it does not love going into the stand. Okay, come on. It's a bit of a tight fit in there. Oh yeah, this is. I suppose if you want to put anything substantial on it, you do really want to screw the stand thing in, which I do not have a screwdriver with me, so I may insert an image after the fact with the aircraft on the stand. But yeah, I don't think that's going to work for this video right now. But that we'll try to fix that later. But all right, I was able to get the model on the stand with the screw in it now, so it sits a little bit loose, but the stand does work. So there we see it right there. So pretty nice. And I mean, it is a good quality stand and everything. So, that really helps, I suppose, complete the whole dealio with this model. So yeah, looking very nice with the stand. Overall, the model itself is very good. Sorry about the little difficulties there at the end, but the model itself is very nice. And definitely a total steal for $30. Definitely will be glad to add this one to the collection. A corporate model or a promotional model from Bombardier, whatever this is, in the Gemini JC mold, looks incredible. And yeah, definitely glad to add this one to the collection. And that is the final model for our massive unboxing here. So 16 models in total, and we'll bring them all in for one final concluding shot. Well, that'll do it for this massive unboxing. That was quite the marathon of a video. Thank you all for checking this one out. This was definitely a fun one to make, and glad to add all these new models to the collection right here. All 16 of them. Little Cayman Airways turtleback there. Here we have some of our other goodies that we got from Airliners. This is not even all of them. There's still more that I couldn't fit on the table, but I think we got the main ones on here, and there's still some more on the floor. And also I'll have to clean up now all these boxes, but that's just part of the life of being a model aircraft influencer, I suppose. But yeah, what an amazing event. And as much as all this stuff is incredible to now have in my own collection, it was still incredible to interact with so many nice people, see so many of you guys out there. That was, once again, just an amazing experience, and definitely just cheered me up. It was great. It's hard to find words for it, but it made me happy to be able to interact with other app geeks that I may only interacted before through the internet, or maybe only seen for the one day last year at Airliners. Now I got to see them for 3 days this year, so it was great to see you all again, and I'll be there next year in Atlanta, and yeah, so I can't wait to once again see you all. Looking forward to next year's event for sure. Should be even greater. So yeah, thank you all for checking out this video. Thank you all for your support, and I will see you tomorrow. As always, good night. Auf Wiedersehen.